Hey guys, this is Zero Budget Geek and welcome to another episode of the Sentinels of the Multiverse Hero Guides. Today we are taking a look at the Wraith. Now the Wraith is a very interesting character. If I had to describe it as anything, she'd be like a female Batman. She uses lots of equipment cards to deal with a variety of threats, and much like Tempest, she's just very useful in just about any situation, has pretty much an answer for everything. And let's go take a look at what she can do right now. So her base power is stealth. When you activate this power, you can reduce the next damage that would be dealt to Wraith by 2. Now, this power can stack, so if you use it on a turn, reducing your damage by 2, and you take no damage, and then next turn you activate this ability again, now the next damage that you receive will be reduced by 4, and you can keep piling that on. Mind you, you can get this powered up to -10, but if you take just 1 damage from something else, it'll reduce it by 10, and then you'll have to kind of charge it back up again. But you can pile it up to amazing degrees, but eventually you're gonna stop using this power because she definitely has much better ones. So let's take a look at her cards. So the first card we have here is Combat Stance, which you're not going to use very much, but it is an interesting card. And the first time a target deals damage to Wraith, she can return 2 damage to that target. So a villain hits her for 2 or 3 points of damage, and she'll hit them back for 2 points of melee. This is an okay card. You have better things you want to do on your turn, but if you have nothing else better to do, you can throw this card out and do some damage back to villain targets. You just want to be careful because you can't really control the damage that hits back. So if there's a hero card that may do damage to Wraith, then she's gonna end up hurting her hero teammates. So you want to just be careful of that. Then we have here Grappling Hook. Definitely a great card for her. If you draw this card, don't waste this. It lets you destroy 1 ongoing card or an environment card, and if that wasn't enough, it lets you draw a card. So it's almost a free card play for the turn. And she has several of these in her deck, and it lets you target problematic cards that as we know so far, ongoing cards and environment cards can be difficult to get rid of. This is her answer to that, and it gets you a free card draw. Impromptu Invention. This is probably her #1 card in her deck. It's definitely one you're gonna love seeing every single time. First of all, when you play this card, you get to draw a card, so it replaces itself. Then you get to search your deck for any equipment card, and you can either put it into play or in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Most of the time you're going to want to put it in play, and then you may play a card. So this is like a free card play for the turn. It gets you a card, you can still play another card, and you're going to get a card in play. So essentially you're going to get 2 cards in play off of this 1 card. So very, very useful, and it helps you get over one of Wraith's weaknesses is her reliance on equipment cards. If all those get destroyed, she's kind of screwed, but with Impromptu Invention, she kind of gets back on her feet relatively quickly. Infrared Eyepiece. In my opinion, this is her most powerful card. It's an equipment card that stays in play, and its power is you review the top 2 cards of the villain deck. You get to put one of them on top of the villain deck and the other on the bottom, and you get to draw a card. What is not to like there? You get a free card draw, and you get to dictate what card is going to come next out of the villain deck. This will let you get around some devastating cards that the villains may have. Make sure they're going to get a weaker card. So you want to get this card out as soon as possible. Usually you're gonna get into play with this Impromptu Invention. So I can't stress enough the importance of getting this card in play as quickly as possible and using it just about every turn that you can. Here we have Inventory Barrage. This is sort of her finisher card, but it has a very, very limited use. You destroy all of your equipment cards in play, and then you do 2 damage for each card that was destroyed this way, and you do that to a single villain target. So you're basically sacrificing all your equipment cards to do 1 big damage. Kind of bad because Wraith relies on her inventory of equipment, so you kind of don't want to be destroying them. But if you have the villain very low, or you absolutely need to destroy something now, then this is the card you're gonna want to use. But generally it's very, very limited in use. Here we have Mega Computer, which reduces damage dealt by environment cards by 1, which doesn't sound like much, but when you notice that this is not a limited card and she has 3 of them in her deck and you get all 3 out, then you can reduce damage by environment cards by a lot. The only drawback to this card is that sometimes you want environment cards to do damage to the villain cards, but generally lowering their damage is fine, because most of the time environment cards are going to damage the heroes and not so much the villain, so any reduction of that damage is greatly appreciated. Here we have micro targeting computer. This will increase the damage, projectile damage dealt by Wraith by 2, and a lot of her damage that she deals is projectile damage from her equipment cards that you're gonna see in a moment. So anything that boosts that is just really great. So here we have Razor Ordnance, which is an equipment. It is limited, so you can only have 1 in play, but it deals 3 damage to a single target. Together with that micro targeting computer, you're going to be doing 5 damage off of a single power use. So just that alone is very powerful. But she has other stuff. Here we have Smoke Bombs, a limited card, but you want to get this in play, relatively soon, because anytime a villain card would deal damage, you get to redirect that damage. Well, rather, actually, it's not every time a villain card does damage. Anytime a villain card does damage to the hero with the lowest health, you get to redirect that damage to the hero with the highest health and reduce it by 1. So, what's not to like about there? Protects your lower, your lower health heroes. And we have Stumbo. I don't often use this card that much, but it is very useful. It does only 1 damage to a single target, but until the start of your next turn, you reduce all damage that target deals by 1. So if a main villain's doing, a lot of damage to you, you can use this on him to deal some damage, but also, reduce the amount that he gives. Put this together with the micro targeting computer, now it becomes a worthwhile card, because it's going to be doing 3 damage per hit while reducing the damage you're getting back. So not much to complain about there. Here we have Search Yourself, which it's a 1-shot and the Wraith regains 3 hit points. Sounds like would be great, but often you have more important stuff to play, so really you're only going to want to be using this card when you're really low on health. Here we have Throat Jab, which is a card I love. It is a 1-shot, but you deal 2 damage to a single target, and that target will not be able to deal any damage at all until the start of the Wraith's next turn. So I often do this on the highest target, the damage that does the target that deals the highest damage, and basically shut them down for a turn. Here we have Throwing Knives. If you're tired of doing single damage to a single target, with this, Wraith can deal 1 damage to up to 3 targets. Again, you put that together with the micro targeting computer, now she's doing 3 damage to 3 different targets. So nothing to complain about there. Here we have Trust Fund. If you're having a hard time getting those cards in play out this Trust Fund. It lets you draw 4 cards and discard 2. It just lets you get through your deck that much quicker. And we have Utility Belt, one of the most important cards in her deck. It lets you use an additional power during your power phase. So one of the things that I like to do is get the Infrared Eyepiece in play, get the Utility Belt in play, and pretty much any of her attack cards like Razor Ordnance, and you'll be able to do an attack on your turn and control what the villain is going to be doing on their next turn. So very potent once you can get those in play, and it's only a couple cards that you gotta get, which are easy to get with the Impromptu Invention. So that is the Wraith. She's pretty much a straightforward character. You want to get her equipment cards in play. You want to be wary of what's going on the field and react to specific threats, with either her grappling hook or her mega computer, and choose the right equipment to attack depending on the situation. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you check the annotations and the description box for links to other episodes in this series, and until my next video, see you soon.